uh, photographer, videographer, and designer and brand designer. Um, I have been that for the last 7 years. I don't have slides to share today, but I'm going to just share what is in my heart for us, so that we can. I'm going to share from the heart. That's what I'm essentially saying. Okay. Like I said, my name is. Let me be sure that people are hearing me. If you're hearing me, can you just unmute and say hi or something? If you're hearing me.
I can hear you.
Hi, Mr. Solomon. Good evening. All right.
Here you.
Hi, Mrs. Samuel. Good evening. Well,
Good
it's evening
evening.
in Dubai. Yes. Anyone else?
Hi.
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 I did doing. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hope you're all right. Okay. I'm just going to share just a tiny bit from what I could garner in a very short the short amount of time that I had, because I have been super swamped with work, and I didn't have the time to sit down to gather my thoughts. The subject of branding is huge, and I'm not sure that that's necessarily something that we can finish in a very small period of time. But I'm going to emphasize on the things that if you were to implement it now, it will radically change. Sorry. Is that, please, sir, kindly, I didn't get the message. Is that for me or for someone else? Okay. I'll just continue. The subject of branding is huge. It's a huge subject. In fact, most of the time when we're talking about branding, you would have to talk about some other concept like marketing and communications and advertising, because everything is usually interlinked, because everything influences everything, right? What qualifies me to talk about this, and I'm going to just read just a little excerpt from what I have been doing and who I am. This is going to sound like bragging, but it is not. I tell myself that I am a confluence of creative excellence and quintessential storytelling. That is what I write about myself. I am passionate about sharing some of the world's most amazing human-centric stories through photography, design, and film. So because I do photography, I do videography and film, and I also do design, graphics, and brand design as well. I've worked in the creative industry for over 10 years. The first 5 years, I worked as an on-air personality, journalist, and newscaster for MTA. And I worked in a private radio station in Uyo, Nigeria, before I moved to Lagos in 2015. And the rest of that, my professional work life, I have been a photographer, a commercial photographer, videographer, filmmaker, and designer in that 7 years. I currently lead a company called Franklin Davis Studios. I shuttle between Dubai and Texas. My family is in Texas, but I also work in Dubai as well. And I am also the founder of a new online lifestyle radio station that I've been working on for a while, and we're launching in March. So I have what looks like a lot of experience with branding and how to perception management, amongst other things, to help you position yourself rightly in the market for the things that you want to do with your life or your business. So not to toot my own horn, I am fairly I'm good. Like I'm all right to talk about the topic because I've had experiences working with advertising agencies. I'm working on briefs. I've worked with companies like Total Nigeria. I've worked with banks like GTB Bank. I've worked with different places. There are some images and some advertising images that I'm probably sure that you've seen probably back in Nigeria that I shot those images. I've worked with personalities like Naomi Campbell as a personal photographer and Teniola, and I've worked with huge PR agencies in Nigeria and all. Branding is a very, very important subject. It's a very, very important subject. If you are able to hack it, you are good. If you're able to hack it, you're good. By the way, I wanted to also say that this cap, I have 11 of this. This cap that I'm wearing, this Yoruba cap, I have 11 of this because it's part of my brand. Is how you may not remember me for anything, but you remember that that's man that was wearing the Yoruba cap. That is what I wanted, and I wanted that when I'm coming to make this presentation, I was also living what I will be preaching, figuratively speaking. Now, so what is branding? Branding is the process of creating a distinct identity for a person, business, or institution in the mind of its audience and consumers. Please feel free to just stop me if you think I'm going too fast, and if you have questions, you can also fire them. It would even help me present a lot better. So that entire process, when you're thinking about how do we get you as a personal brand to stick in the minds of people, to have a distinct identity, so that when someone thinks about you, what they remember is they have something that they can, oh, this is this about this person, or this is this about this person, or this is this about this person. In our interactions with different brands, you would discover that there are many things that you can distinctively remember about that brand. Distinctively, you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to, once that the name of that brand is mentioned, there's something that is going to come to your mind. Please, I need some people to unmute so that we can do an exercise together to further buttress my point. When I mention Serena Williams, what comes to your mind? Can we unmute? I just want to ensure that we're here together. When I mention Serena Williams, what comes to mind?
Athletes.
Athletes, fantastic. So apart from athletes, what else comes to mind?
Tennis.
What? Tennis? Okay, fantastic. When I mention Michael Jordan, what comes to mind?
Basketball.
Fantastic. Okay. When I mention Naomi Campbell, what comes to mind?
Fashion.
Okay, so apart from fashion, what else?
Influencing or something.
Influencing. Okay. When I mention Nike, what comes to mind?
Fashion.
Sports.
Yeah.
Athleticism and all. Okay, for those of us who live in the UAE, when I mention day to day, what comes to mind?
You can get things cheaper.
Fantastic. Affordable prices, quality things for affordable prices. That is a distinctive identity of that particular brand. It's if you're looking for Dubai is a cosmopolitan city, is one of the bigger cities in the world, that if you stood here and you positioned yourself here, the world would hear you. But if you don't want to spend your buck in buying Gucci and all, and you need something, sorry, excuse me, something that would work for you, something that will be decently nice, but will also be affordable, is a day-to-day that you go to. And I'm sure that I was able to drive that point home with the day-to-day analogy. So branding is that entire process. How do we get people to remember us without confusing us with somebody else? That is the question branding solves. How do we get people to remember us in the most distinctive way possible without mixing us with someone else? That's what branding solves. So if people forget you a lot, then you may have a branding problem. If people forget you a lot, if someone spends 5-10 minutes with you and does not remember who you are, then you may likely have a branding problem. The reason why I started wearing cap, apart from the fact that I loved it, was because I used to shoot like a lot of corporate and social events back in Lagos when I first started photography in 2016. That's when I first started. And I remember that because that was also the time where a lot of people were coming, so photographers were not seen as alawadas. We know what that means, right? Photographers were not seen as alawadas. So people were beginning to make money, people were beginning to, live comfortable lives because of the photography thing that they were doing. But it was very easy for everyone to forget who the photographer is. So I said to myself, what is it that you can do apart from the nice pictures that you take, that anytime someone sees you, you will become memorable? So even when I take nice pictures, everybody and that's when they'll call me cameraman. Hello, cameraman, come this side and take this picture. But I realized I could do so much more to ensure that when anybody sees me, they don't forget me. So the pictures can be nice, the pictures will be beautiful, and I ensure that I do stunning work. But at the same time, I wanted something that when you see me, you will remember who I am. So I was like, voila, it was a hat. So I went and I sold a lot of it. And I used to go on my jean, and I used to go on my t-shirt, and I used to go on my hoodie, and I will always have the hat. So if you see me in a place, you may not take notice. The next time that you see me in another place with the hat, you will say, I've met you before, because you want to be memorable. So if you have a business or you have a service or you have just even your own personal brand, the question is, how do you get people to remember you? So I think I've flogged that. Let's move ahead. So that entire process of creating something distinctive so that people remember you essentially. There are a few things that I would love to just touch on, and I'm going to spend time in the later things I'm going to talk about. So there are tangibles when it comes to branding or brand management, and those tangibles are the things that you see. So you have logos, you have color palettes, you have typography styles, you have photography styles, you have graphic elements. Everything that you can see with your koro eyes, like Nigerians will see, they're called tangible essentials. Tangible essentials, things that you can see, things that you can touch, or things that you can, you can interact with essentially. For those of us who were born in the 1980s, or even till now, there's a certain way that Coca-Cola ads look like. I don't know whether anybody would agree with me. There's a certain way that their ads looks like. It has this purplish gradient thing. Is anybody that observatory to agree with me? Please help me. Is there anybody here who maybe you've seen a Coca-Cola ad, maybe different Coca-Cola ads, and you see how it looks like, and you realize that it maintains the same look and feel? Is anybody here?
Yes.
Fantastic. Branding is why they get to do that. Branding is why they get to do that. They do not want you to mistake their brand. They do not want you to mistake, oh, that ad was for Pepsi. No. They don't want you to do that. They say, once you see our ad, we want you to know that it is us. Okay. We don't want you mistaking our stuff, our content for another company. So they have a certain look and feel of the brand, of the thing that they produce, the content and all. They have a certain, even their designs, even their pictures, they have a certain way that it looks like. If you go on their Instagram account right now, so you can go to Coca-Cola Africa or Coca-Cola UAE, any of their Instagram accounts, you see that all their images look the same because they want memorability. And everything that branding hinges on that's the stock in trade of branding, memorability. We want you to remember us, and we want you to know who we are from the first time that you see our stuff. So you have tangibles. Those tangibles are logos, you have color palettes, and you have typography, and you have photography style, among other things. Logos and everything that you can see, touch, and feel are very, very important, because sometimes they are the first interactions with the client or with the people who see you from the outside. I'm going to give an example. Anybody, I'm sure that we know. You know Emiloko, right? Everybody knows Emiloko. With the entire election and everything that they've been working on for a while now, once you see that infinity sign, well, I'm a student of communication and branding and marketing, and also I watch out for those things. Once he has a logo that has that infinity sign, once you see that infinity sign, you know that it is his content that is coming up. That infinity sign has been branded into hats and caps and this and that, because they're like, he's timeless. That is what they want people to know. He is timeless. He's been a senator of the Federal Republic. He's been a governor. He's now metamorphosed into being a leader of a party over 20, 25, 30 years, and he's now wants the highest office in the land. So they're saying he's timeless. So they put an infinity mark there. So you have that's what I'm talking about: tangibles, logos, and color palettes, and all. If you need, it's very, very important that you invest in good, tangible essentials for your brand, because that is the first thing that people see when they see you. That's the first thing that people see when they see you. I'm going to share a very interesting fact about the Nike logo. Nike logo is a right sign. Please help me. Nike logo is a right sign, right? Like the swoosh sign, right? Oh, they've left me. Have you left? Have we left?
They're with you.
Okay. I just want to be sure that. So Nike logo is the swoosh sign. Interestingly, that particular, they get that the name Nike is from a Greek mythology and all, but that swoosh sign, it actually signifies a goddess wing, is one part of a goddess wing. Now, I'm not going to start explaining, oh, this is how you should design a logo or not, because everything has evolved over time. Most of the most amazing logos are the most simplest ones, but that's just an aside. But they played on, we want our products to be worn by the best in the world. So they created a logo that signified, or that signifies, or that what's the word? Is it that represented a typology of somebody on the wings, somebody going, somebody on the run, essentially that. And they've been able to scale to different things. So invest in the tangible, because that's what people see first. But I'm going to spend the little time that I have left talking about the intangibles, because those are the most essentials. Those are the reasons why you have businesses become transgenerational institutions. Because you can change the logo, right? You can change your logo if you want it. You can change the color palette of the logo if you want it. You can change anything if you want it. If the name of your company changes or your company gets bought by another company, the name is going to change, right? But there are other things that are intangible things. They are not seen, but they exist. I'm going to share a few with you. So that we can drive this to the road. I don't know whether I'm doing good so far, but if I'm doing good, just encourage me, right? So there are intangibles. Intangibles here represents things that are not necessarily seen, but exist. Things that are not necessarily seen, but they exist. So you would have, I'm going to take my time here just a tiny bit to share a few of those things that you usually would not see it, but they exist. Number one, I want to talk about vision. The reason why I'm taking my time to talk about the intangibles, because these are the things that will last. Everything, they come and go. They are easily changed or replaceable. But the intangibles do not necessarily change. They do not necessarily, they're supposed to be what drives you even in tough times. So you're running a business, you're running a company, you're running a fashion business. Why did you start? What was the vision from the beginning? Because that is supposed to be the thing that is going to power you through. Every person, and I tell my colleagues this, everyone is obsessed about, oh, is the logo fine? Hello, no logo job. Is the logo fine? And the picture stunning? And I'm not trying to trash those. Heck, I design logos. I'm a photographer, so I definitely handle all of those. I'm a videographer and a filmmaker, so I definitely do all of those. But there are some things that are more important than all of those things that you're saying. I'm a Christian, so I'm just going to quote a scripture so that I give, this is where my headspace usually is when I'm talking about this particular subject. Hebrews chapter 11 verse 3. It says, by faith we understand that the universe was formed by God's command, so that what is not seen was made of what is visible. Sorry if you're not Christian, I deeply apologize. I have to give basis for what I am essentially saying. So you have, we understand from what I just read that the things that we see, ideas, ideologies, you don't see ideology. If you see it in your area, please let me know. If you see ideas in your areas, please let me know, right? Those are intangibles. You don't necessarily see them, but they are the driving force. They are the engine room of what brands thrive on. So I mentioned that number one is vision. Number one is vision. What were you seeing when you decided to start a business? And if it was money, I don't know whether you're seeing it right. You can make money, but the business is going to stop with you. And there's no reason for you to put all that sweat and tears and heart and soul into what you're doing if all you only want is to make money and let the business stop with you. So vision. What was your original intent? What was the original idea? What was backing it? Right? I tell myself every time, my vision for my business is to become that place for myself. Let me talk about myself. My vision for my life is to become that place where if you need somebody to tell the best story for your brand, I want to be the person. Whether it's with photography or videography or design, I want to be an extension of your creative department. That is where my headspace usually is. I want to be able to tell amazing stories of brands, of institutions, of businesses, and the rest. That was the original idea. With Coca-Cola said, we want our products to be at par with water. If you don't drink water, you will die. They said, we want that if it comes to it, if you don't drink Coke, you can die. Now, it's not the most healthiest of drinks, but that's what they wanted from the beginning. So we want to ensure that our product is at par with the most popular product that people need to live in the universe. That's water. That was the vision. So let me ask you, what was the vision for your business? I didn't come to talk to you about, your logo should be this or the logo should be that. No. Those are in my own book. They're not huge like that. They don't rank even in the top 2 or 3 in my entire eyes. There are things like consistency and clarity and vision and purposefulness. Those are the things that are always in my mind, and not necessarily, what your logo looks like, because those are the things that would drive you when you don't have the strength anymore to drive. So what was the original idea? I just said about Coke. They said we want our drink to be the next best thing to stand on par with water. So what was your own vision for your business? What was your vision for your business? I'm going to just read what I read about my business, because I want to be able to drive my point home with my own business, because it's different when you're talking about somebody else. I know. So let me just bring it up so that we can be on the same page. I said that we are a creative agency passionate about creative storytelling with core specialty in photography, videography, and design. And I went on to talk about the fact that all that we want to do with your brand is to tell your story right. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to tell your story right. That's our vision for our business. We want to be able to tell your story right. We want to be able to help you, and this is true to God. We want to be able to help you see, we want to be able to help others see you the way God will see you. That's how I tell myself every day. So if what we need is to create a video that shares all that you're about and your core essentials, we are going to do that. If we're going to take the most amazing of pictures to be able to tell people what you're about, to be able to show people what you look like when God sees you, we're going to do that. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the universe, one of those, that thing that you particularly believe in, my vision for my business is to present people or businesses the way God sees them, or the way the universe sees them when he looks at them, or when he or she looks at them, whatever it is that you believe. So vision is number 1. Number 2 is the purpose. What is the entire idea? What did we set out to achieve from the start? Vision and purpose are not the same thing. Purpose talks about the end inside. Vision talks about the end inside. Purpose talks about why. Why? I'm sure I don't know, but I feel like I've been able to clarify that for somebody right now. Purpose is why. Why are you doing it? Vision is what do you want to achieve? Vision looks from the end to the beginning. Purpose looks from the beginning to the end. I'm sure that I've been able to help somebody. Purpose looks from the beginning to the end. Vision looks from the end to the beginning. The reason why these two things are very, very important, especially they go hand in glove, the reason why they're very important is because they give you a panoramic view of what it is that you're about. A panoramic view, you can call it an eagle's view. That is from top to bottom. That's what they call it, a panoramic view. So it gives you an eagle bird view of all the boy, right? So what is the purpose? What do you want to achieve? We don't just want businesses that start today, get excited, you have a new logo, you have a new brand identity, your business card is smashing, and in 3 years, you're not in business anymore. No, no, no. We want you to dig deep so that you can go the distance. That is what branding does. That's what these intangibles I'm sharing does. It says dig deep so that you can go the distance. So what is the purpose? Why? We want to own the biggest medical emergency medical organization in the world. Why? You want to build a product that can rival Microsoft. Why? Because Miles Monroe said, if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. You are going to abuse it. You are going to abuse it. I'm sure that I made that point clear. So why? If you identify that, you've gone some distance. Then you have emotional connections. Those are yeah, I'm still talking about intangible essentials from a branding perspective or from a brand management perspective. There are emotional connections that you make from the client to the product itself and all. Michael Jordan has I think that Nike is the people producing it. They said there are sneakers called Air Force Ones or like Jordans, Air Force Ones or Jordan Ones and all. People in Black American culture, when you're looking for when people are looking for what has made them, when they want to tell you that they have made it in life, they buy a Jordan. Because Michael Jordan is one of the greatest athletes in the world, but aside that, wearing it makes you feel on top of the world. It's expensive, but it also makes you feel good. So how does your brand make people feel? How does your brand make people feel? When people work with you, what do they feel like? I am very, very, and I every day that I have a client, I wake up telling God, sorry, I know that I spoke about God too much, but I don't have any choice. But I always tell God, help me not to have any issues with my client. Because I'm supposed to help you. I'm not supposed to be giving you more stress. Do you understand? So I want that when people get me, what they get is somebody who is patient enough to interpret their visions and dreams through my camera or my designs. Because the average creative is not the most patient person. By the time you send a third review, they're like, madam, you did not pay for all this for me. But over time, sometimes I work, I don't know, my oil was here last weekend. I shoot her stuff and I also work with channels as well. There are times that we would shoot, she would send it back 5 times. And I've never lost my cool once. Not that it wasn't uncomfortable because I have other clients, but you want that, even if what they're paying, even if what the person, your client is paying is not big money, you want that they feel good working with you. I want that when my client is talking to some other person about me, they would say, if you want somebody who is going to help you with your work and who is going to be patient enough to work you through, even when you don't understand what is going on up here about what you want, and they're going to be patient with you, call Franklin. Now that's a big commendation for me than most other things. That's the feeling that I want people to feel. I want that when people work with me, they say, oh, he's not just my videographer or my photographer or my designer, he's also my friend. He has my best interest at heart. I want clients that turn into friends. So that's why when I was in Nigeria, I had a staff who worked for me. He never understood why I never complained when we had to do revisions multiple times. We did work for Asha the musician, for her and Arise Fashion Week, because we shot that, and we had to go over it, and it wasn't that we weren't good. No. It was because they had Asha had a vision in mind, and she wanted us to be able to interpret that vision she had in mind. So we had to do it over and over again. Is it comfortable? Absolutely not. But do I get the result that I want? Yes. Sometimes I never advertise my business. It is the people who have an experience with my business that they're the preachers. Oh, call Franklin. Franklin will do it. Call Franklin. Franklin will hook you up. Call Franklin. He'll be able to, he will talk you through. And the good thing is that I have editorial experience. So when a client comes, I already have an idea of what they're looking for. Everything in my life connects and it works. So how does your brand make people feel? We're talking about intangibles, and that's the third one. The last one I'm going to share is, what is the personality of the brand? What's the personality of the brand? Let me just ask a question. For an energy drink, what's the personality of the brand? Please help me. I'm almost done. What's the personality of an energy drink brand?
Just they want you to be active or on your job, or you don't want to have a downtime or anything.
Fantastic. Let me ask a follow-up question. So on this side, you have hot. On this side, you have cold. What is the color that represents this hot? Color that represents hot or heat?
Color that represents heat. Maybe like red.
Red. Fantastic. What is the color that represents cold?
Blue.
Fantastic.
Oh.
So the personality, if I was using colors, if I was speaking in terms of colors, the personality of your brand will always shine forth. So you can't have a energy drink brand and their personality is blue. No. They want you to always be on fire. They want you to always they sell passion. They sell passion. Now, in the reverse, a company like Delta Soap or Premier Cool Soap in Nigeria, the one that we have in Nigeria, what they will have, they want you to cool down. We're talking about intangible essentials of branding. So you have vision, you have purpose, you have emotional connections, and you have the personality of the brand. You don't see it, but you experience it. It's an experiential thing. What does the personality, what does it make you, how is it doing you? So you cannot have a Premier Cool have a really, really hot brand. No, that's not even possible, because they want you to come back home, chill, and be bathing like that. And we don't bath like that. I don't know who told us that we usually bath like that. We bath, you put it on your thing, 10 minutes have passed, you're still rubbing your hand. How? We don't bath like that. All right. So they want you to relax. They want you to take your time. They want you to be in your zen realm, and they want you to just, feel good. That's the personality of the brand. So sometimes, a lot of the times, the kind of product that you sell will determine your brand personality. And also, that's one. On the second leg, your personality, the personality that you give the brand will be what the brand personality is. Sometimes it's the product, it assumes a life of itself, or you give it a personality. When people meet me, they tell me, oh, Franklin, we are able to, we don't feel as if we're in a hurry. And now, okay, so let me share an example. I produce podcasts for people who want to produce podcasts, right? I have all the equipment, right? I consider when I look at the market value, especially for people for studios who produce that in Dubai, they are a lot more affordable than myself, because I don't have a studio. So I come where you are and I set up. And because you will have clients who are not able to get it right on the first, second, third, fourth, or even 10th time. And you want a good product. I am not as expensive, but I will take my time and ensure that you get the best product possible. So the personality of my brand is a lot more easygoing. I don't rush. I'm not going to take a picture of, I need to go somewhere. No, I'm not going to do that. So we take our time. We're working on Maya wife started her podcast in a bit. We've been working on the logo for a while. We'll look at the logo, she'll say, let's start over again. And because I'm committed to her and my brand is very easygoing, that's why she wants to work with me. That's why a lot of people want to work with me. So I would do it over and over again just to ensure that I satisfy you even when it's uncomfortable. I'm going to ask you a question because I'm rounding off. I'm sure that I've been able to at least give you some value. I know I'm going to ask you, I'm going to share a quote, then I'm going to ask you questions. Guy Kawasaki is the chief evangelist, or you can call it the chief marketing officer of a platform called Canva. Canva is an online graphics tool where you can use to create content for your business. They have a free version and they have a premium version that you can get to choose. He said, brands are built on what people are saying about you, not what you're saying about yourself. Brands are built based upon what people are saying about you and not what you're saying about yourself. Everything that I said about myself are things people have told me. I was supposed to travel to Nigeria in December. I have clients who told me, you should bring all the gear because we want to shoot content. But the math was not matching, and I was like, nah, bro, I'm not going to do that. But why haven't they worked with some other person? I have clients who come to Dubai because they want to work with me. It's what they are saying that matters. It's what the client is saying that matters. Have you ever been so thirsty that you run into a mall, or you run into a supermarket, and you just see the Coke bottle inside the fridge, and you begin to salivate already? And you see the sea is sweating. That's Nigerians are very funny. You say it's sweating. By the time you take it out, you see the sweat just coming down from it. And you drink it, and because it has a lot of sugar, so it pumps you up. You are relaxed, but at the same time, you're not without energy. And many people over generations have said that about Coca-Cola. What are people saying about you? If you can identify it and work on it, you have sealed your brand for a long time. In December, a friend of mine sent me a questionnaire and said, and sent me a list of questions. What do you think about me? How do you think about my worldview or my perspective on things about life and all? And I feel that, and while I was feeling, I'm like, this is very interesting. This is somebody who wants to intentionally emerge and do better with their brand. So branding is not necessarily, or branding and brand management is not necessarily what you say about yourself. It's what people say about you. That's very important. I'll leave you with a question. And the question is this. This question, I was listening to a message. I was listening to TD Jakes give an interview one time, and he said this message, and I think that this is the hallmark of branding and brand management. I don't think that he even gets that part. But the question is, what do people get when they get you? Or you can say, when people get you, what do they get? When people get your product, what do they get? When people interact with your business and service, what do they get? It's not just about, oh, he gets a fine picture. Everybody can get a fine picture. There are thousands of photographers in Dubai. What is different about you? I have a friend who tells me constantly that I have angles. I understand people's angles. That's what he tells me. You know how people will say, this is my fine side. Some photographers don't know that. But somehow I'm able to just know which a fine side is. So I can look at someone and say, if you post like this, it would look good. And because my goal is to give them a pictorial or a motion picture representation of how God sees them, That is what my driving force is. So I will look for their best sides so that they can see themselves the way God sees them. That is my purpose. That is what fuels me every day. The products and service we're currently working on a program for Women's Month called Women on Fire, and we're just bringing together different women who want to. We're interviewing women, creating content for them at a very minimal price and stuff like that. Because and the product is not actually, it's not about the money. I've settled in my heart that Bible talks about that life doesn't consist of the things that a man owns. That's my driving philosophy. Money is good, but it's not just it for me. I want that when people get my product or my service, they don't just get value, but they see themselves in a different perspective, from a different perspective. So when people get you, what do they get? That is my question. If you're able to identify this, it will change how you even handle yourself and your business and your brand. I'm sorry if I took a bit more time, but with these few points of mine, I hope I have been able to share my heart this evening.
I mean, thank you very, very much, Mr. Franklin. Please, I need reactions. I need reactions. Please use your reaction button if something has happened to you, because for me, I can say something has happened, because you took us into a different dimension entirely from what we are just what people look at as branding, and as startups, people that are just going into industry. It is important to know the vision, the perceptions, the personality is very, very important. And because I mean, this session is in the critical stage where Nigerians are in the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
And so in during crisis time, the decision that you make is so important.
Very.
Our decision in this time is what we determine. Either we scale through. Maya was saying something in our class, and I think people that was in their class was like, okay. She was interviewing me, and she said, okay, is anybody coming? I think what most of us Nigerians is, let me use Nigeria now. In the UAE, we are waiting for a savior. Maybe when a new government comes, things will do this. See, the problem at home is even enormous. Not to now talk of someone will now say, okay, when the new government come now, the next thing is going to come to Dubai and then come and settle international alliance. There will be certain, who knows if that will take to December again before we. We are in a critical stage whereby the idea, why are we going into what we are going to, is important. And that's what you just let us know, that look, setting up a food business, a bakery business, whatever business you're going to do, let a vision guide the way you present yourself. And that is what people are sectors. And that is what we make. And I said it that, look, the vision that is guiding me is, no, we can do better than this. All of us must not now look and say, you know what, everything has come to an end. We can't get. I just want to use the bathroom. And I made a quote the other time for people that were in the class. I used Pastor Kojo Imade to make that quote, and he said, look, if you if they didn't invite you to their party, create your party and they will come. I think that was what this platform, if you know the platform, that was what if invite you. And today, you know how many people that wants to speak on platform? Get an invitation to speak on platform. It's a testimony. I mean, you even go to your church or your mosque and say, let me thank God, I'm speaking in a very and it was as a result of creating something that brings something in. And that is how
Mm.
it is.
Mm.
You are knocking on a restaurant, so let me be a cashier, let me be a waitress, let me be a waitress. They're saying, no, no, this, no, that. Let's create our brand. Let's create our feed. And classes like these, we talk about branding, we talk about finance, we talk about leadership, we talk about our customers, about all these things are what we join us together. Thank you very much for doing amazing justice to the topic. You really, 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 really. So I'm not trying to flatter. You shared my. When Amayowa said no, this is the right person, I now see the reason why she said no.
I just want to share one last thing before I don't know whether there's question or not, but I just want to share one last thing. So Pharaoh gets to have conversations with the butler, and he had a dream. So Joseph comes and gives the interpretation.